And that's about as good as it gets in the G4M2, I would suggest.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit. You said so. It's all bullshit.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, and let me tell you that's one shit fuck crazy weapon you do not want to be on the wrong side of. Boy, oh boy. You know, I practiced with that dragon 3 hours a day for 2 weeks.
Hello fellow pilots, I'm Major Payne and this is another episode of How to Play. And today I'm going to talk about Mitsubishi G4M2. It's a premium tier 7 bomber, Japanese bomber, first in a game, currently available in a set of missions, although it's a hard grind. So let's get down to the numbers so you will know is it worth it or not. Gun armament, we have 3 7.7 machine guns and 2 20mm cannons. One of these cannon is on the top in the start here, and another one is this one, tail gunner here. And altogether we have 720 cumulative damage. It's on a distance 850 meters up to the 850, so it's impressive. It's 720 is like insanely high, and it sounds like overpower. But in practice it's actually not. Obviously we cannot put all those machine guns on target, but we can put 2 20mm cannons on target, and those 2 20mm cannons have 240 damage per second on 850 meters range, so this is impressive. And if you manage to put both of these cannons on enemy plane, then I would say you can deal even with the heavy fighter of tier 8 in favorable situations, let's say. So this top turret is interesting because it's actually capable of firing almost vertically. So be careful when you attack this plane. You shouldn't go from high altitude. Don't dive on it because he can still fire at you with this 20mm cannon. And obviously don't go from behind because that's a kill zone for this plane. Try to attack it from the sides or soft underbelly, that kind of stuff. But never go from behind and above because that's not gonna end up well. Let's get down to bombs. That's main thing for the bomber, yes? 250 kilogram bombs, 4 of them. Cumulative damage 20,000, resupply time 35 seconds. So very similar to what we have with Russian bomber on tier 7. And again, this is actually very similar because it's actually a dive bomber. So we can dive with those bombs and drop them from very high angle, which is very useful in battle. Now let's move to survivability. We have 1350 HP points, not great, not terrible. Resistance to damage 53, which is okay. Resistance to fire is 83, which is excellent, so this plane doesn't catch up fire easy. So that's good. Now, what else? Speed. And there is the problem. Cruise speed is 350 only, and top speed is 550, so basically this bomber is very slow. Boost duration is 60 seconds, which is great, but so what if we have top speed 550 km/h? That's not good enough. And maximum dive speed 700. So basically, definitely we need to work to increase the top speed, because like currently in the game, speed is very important. Like, you know, you can see now even the ground attack planes can be faster than this bomber, and that's the problem. If the ground attack plane can outcav the bomber, that's mean there's serious problem with speed. So imagine two factories on a map, and if we take one factory, we go into another factory, so everyone else, every other bomber, and even some of the ground attacker can do it quicker. They travel this distance between the factories faster, and they cap faster in result. So speed is something that we have to work on with this plane. Now, maneuverability. It's actually very good maneuverability. Very similar again to Russian bomber at tier 7. 18 seconds average, 360 degrees turn, which is great like for the bomber. Let's move to the altitude performance. That's interesting. So minimum optimum altitude for this bomber is 700 meter, and maximum optimum is 1800, and service ceiling 3800. So basically it's not like German bomber. We are not capable of flying at high altitude fast. This is completely different. It's a mid-altitude bomber, and it's actually a dive bomber, so we don't need this high altitude. And with this gun armament, we should be able to defend ourselves, so we don't need to escape on high altitude. In case of engagement with heavy fighter, like German bombers, they can defend themselves by flying at high altitude. Now let's talk about my equipment, consumables, and pilot skills, how I built my plane and why did I build this way. So basically I'm trying to reinforce my defense armament. So that's why on cockpit, that's actually pretty standard cockpit armor, so give me extra resistance to injuries for the pilot and the gunner. On airframe, I use reinforced airframe, which give me extra HP pool, and this is important to stay alive longer and use our defense armament. And with the pilot skill, which is protection expert, I get almost 2000 HP points, which is great compared to what we have base, which is 1350 HP points. So this is important part of this, and I'm not losing speed on reinforced airframe. Like for example, if you would put reinforced skin, then your aircraft speed is going to drop, and speed is another thing which is important when you defend yourself. So that's why I use engine boost mixture injection on engine, and that gives me of course speed when I travel between the sectors. Currently I have like 600 almost km/h, but it's also very important to keep the enemy heavy fighter or fighters just at the distance as long as we can. Obviously 600 is not the magnificent speed, and most of the heavy fighters are obviously faster, all of them actually, and tier 6 and 7. But still, if we keep the 600, then we can keep them longer at the distance. And the next very important equipment is ultimate turret gun sight. I use here a special project of USA, which is the best of the best. So I basically increase my firing range of my defense armament, probably to the maximum, I would say. Actually, maybe not to the maximum, because I'm using a bonus characteristic to increase the damage also, and chance for critical damage. So basically, I have now range over 1100 meter on my 20 meter cannons, which is amazing. And I can keep enemy heavy fighter at fire long before they get close enough to fire at me. So this is the key to defend yourself against heavy fighters. So you need to have this increased range of your gun armament, and you need the speed, and you need more HP. For bombs, I would say we have two options. I'm using the bomb sight, which is on 400 technological level. I'm not calibrating this. So basically that gave me extra accuracy of my bombs, and bonus characteristic gave me damage caused by bombs, extra 8% altogether. But most important for me is that this equipment doesn't reduce the speed of the plane. So the way I'm using this equipment is that I fly, for example, into the enemy garrison. I drop my 4 bombs. I'm not waiting for a resupply of them. I just keep flying and use my defense armament to take out the air defense aircraft. The same on command center, rocket base, and airstrip, airfield. You know, I can use my air defense, I can say, defensive armament, basically. So yeah, that's how you can fly. And the other option is that you can use the hard points and wait for resupply of your bombs and drop another 4 bombs and capture the sector this way. But that's gonna take a little bit longer. So I prefer one past the garrison, one past the command center, which is more difficult, but it's possible. You can do it. The same as a factory, if you can afford the heavy warheads. If you put the heavy warheads and you have the bomb sight with this bonus characteristic, which increase the damage caused by those bombs, you get into the 28,552 cumulative damage of those bombs, and you can take out the mining plant. Enemy, of course, with set of 4 bombs. As you can see now on example. The only problem with this is that the resupply time with bomb sight is 39 seconds, but that's still enough to, you know, resupply your bombs. And if something goes wrong here, I'm not going to take over this factory, then I can wait a little bit longer, a few seconds longer, up to 39 seconds, and I finish off this factory. Before the factory will reload 80 capture points anyway. For consumables, I want to add one more thing, and it's for engine. Emergency engine restart system. This is very important for that plane, because when you get engine damage in this bomber, then the repair time of this engine is way too long, so we can't wait that much. And this is like must-have equipment, consumable, must-have consumable. Usually I'm using engine cooling, but for this plane, definitely emergency engine restart system is needed. And for the pilot, I have obviously demolition expert. I mentioned that already, protection expert, to increase the amount of the HP, but it's only if you have reinforced frame. And this one here, aerodynamic expert, which can increase the speed if you use equipment on engine for speed. And cruise flight, which give me view range 20% more. This is very important. You can see the threat in a distance before a heavy fighter will spot you. So you can avoid engagement with heavy fighter, and of course a little bit more speed, 3%, always something. So if I would have more of the skills on this pilot, I would definitely go for the Engine Guru 1 and 2 to increase the speed, obviously. Interesting option is also to use resilience, so maybe resilience and Engine Guru 1. But of course this is like a long way to go, so I wouldn't be thinking about that now. But yeah, resilience is definitely an option for this plane. So guys, do yourself a favor and don't build this bomber like a flying tank with all the equipment for survivability, engine protection, all this crap. It's just making yourself vulnerable, slow sitting duck. And then no wonder that some other YouTuber can't make more than 3 chevron battle, even though he have like premium ammunition, 15 skill pilot on press account and stuff like this. Everything was needed, but completely wrong build. Now I fly my bomber in peak time at the weekend, where it's the most of the players, and I managed to pull out the over 68% of win rate, which is very good, like for tier 7 I would say, without flying in a flight with some wingman, yeah? So I think it's a good result, and that's saying something about this plane, that it have very good capabilities. Now it's a time for a battle. As you see, I picked up the battle, which is not the best battle I had, but the reality of the weekend matchmaking, where I have in enemy team 3 players with the bombers, and in my team is 1 player in a bomber and 1 in ground attacker. So I already in a disadvantage basically, because enemy team have much more power to destroy the ground targets. It's, of course, it depends on pilots. Are they good pilots? But you know, this is something where I want to show you. You're not gonna win all the battles. specifically at the weekends where there's like 8 players against 8 players, even 9 players against 9 players I had. So that's the unfortunate reality of the matchmaking. It could be worse because that could be also the battle up against tier 8, which I had a lot of them. So here I start with the 20 points, 30 points and main building for 50 points. I just drop those bombs as quick as possible because half of my team is going here as well. So and straight away after you drop your bombs, you jump into the tail gunner to look around if anything is going after you. So that goes smoothly, and now it's time to go for the rocket base. No, I shouldn't say that that goes smoothly because I lost like more than half of my HP on this first sector, which is wrong. Like that shouldn't be the case. Now I'm going to the rocket base. You see, this guy is firing at me. Rockets or what the hell? Now I have my bombs already reloaded. See, I'm not using the hard points, and I have my bombs ready here, so I don't need that here. And I'm just dropping 3 bombs on main building here. I could drop 2 and take it, but I wanted to go to the tail gunner as quick as possible. But as I mentioned, situation awareness is most important in this plane, and that was lacking here. I didn't see this mosquito coming at all. Yeah, so that's a bad start. So in the meantime, what can I say? I think this plane is different than any other bomber on tier 7. It's actually the plane which can defend itself, specifically if it's a good bomber pilot with good situation awareness. He can defend himself, but in terms of capping sectors, is still going to be outcapped by some bombers, or most of the bombers, I would have to say. And being tier 7 in a battle up against tier 8, it's always the same problem. So now I'm gonna go for the airstrip. We'll see if I can help my team to capture that. On this particular map, the airstrip here is actually very important. If you see how close the airstrip is to those key sectors, so as a rest point is very useful to start here instead of an edge of the map. Half away from here is my rest point. Now, okay, I have help from my team, so we managed to capture that, and again, good heavy fighter pilot helped me out here because I wouldn't probably survive full HP mosquito on my tail. Good stuff. This tail gunner is powerful, and look at this, vertically firing into incoming heavy fighter. And I just take half of his HP in this attack. And I guess he disengaged, but there's another heavy fighter incoming, and that's too much for us. So things doesn't look good now. Enemy have 3 sectors, we have only this airstrip. At least I can reborn in the middle of the map and try to take some key sector. Alright, so I'm gonna dive here and get as quick as possible to rocket base. Bomber flight formation is just about to take the command center now, so situation is actually getting from bad to worst. Air domination, great. Yeah, I would think that that can be 5 chevron battle. Now, at this point, I still have a hope that I can take over this command center and then on time get into the rocket base and put the air domination on enemy team, which could be a great win. Question is, are we going to get there on time? Now the enemy have only one sector, we have 4 minutes to end of the battle. I already have 5 chevrons, that's great, but win would be nice cherry on top. But, as you see, 2 bombers, 2 human player in a bomber, just fly into the command center. And I would say that 2 B-32 is more than enough to take over the command center. I would say so, yeah. And that's exactly what's happening, so hope is gone at this point. And the airstrip, so that's great. 2 sectors almost simultaneously being taken over. And all what's left is just to take over this rocket base. 1 bomb, and 2 bombs for main building, that's enough. Okay, so at least we have a very good result. And guys, that's it in this video, I guess. But let me know what you think about this plane in the comment section. I think it's not crap and it's not overpowered. So it's well balanced, good machine, and I'm not regretting that I spent my time and actually money for skipping this grinding part with certificates to get this plane. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like it, please leave me a like and subscribe for future content, and see you in the next one. Take care.